Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I hope you're all safe and well in the world wherever you are, maybe working from home, maybe still in the office, but yeah, I hope you're all good. So I'm Lauren and I'm a business development team lead here at Enable. So I'm just going to introduce who's on the webinar today first, and then I'll talk you through the agenda. So yeah, there's me, and I'm joined by Ben today. So hi Ben.
Hi Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ben?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
Great. So yeah, as you can see, there's a nice picture of both of us, but my role is really involved in talking to prospects and understanding what their rebate challenges are, and hopefully being able to help them really. And Ben, if you want to kind of introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ben. I'm a customer success manager here at Enable. I've been with the company now for about 2.5 years, and as that blurb says, my main role is really helping our clients achieve their goals for system, which is really why I'm here today and for this webinar.
Great, thanks Ben. So to give you a bit of an introduction to Enable, for those of you that might not have heard of us before and a bit of a background, I'll do that for point one. So the rest of the agenda really is then looking at I guess the title of this webinar. So why a rebate management solution could be a critical pillar of your 2021 strategy. What could poor rebate management be costing your business? What better business outcomes could I expect from using a solution? And then how to measure those key business outcomes. And then at the end, we'll take a Q&A as well, but feel free to add to that in our question box as we go in case you forget anything. But yeah, we'll probably answer them towards the end. So yeah, this is a nice picture giving you an idea of who we are at Enable. So that's not actually all of us. We've actually grown since then. But Enable as a company, we started off really as a software company building for distributors, manufacturers, anything really as needed. But we recognise this consistent challenge in the rebate space with managing rebates. So we developed our solution called Enable, and we've now been backed by, you can see in the left corner there, Menlo Ventures and Sierra Ventures, both San Francisco-based venture capitalists, and we've received the funding now really to take this and become the world leaders really in rebate management. So that's our aim, and that's where we're heading to. So if we move on to the next slide, this is our aim. So that's, as I was saying, our vision is for every business relationship really to be connected using Enable. So it's not just about rebate management. If we move on to the next slide, you'll see a snapshot of our current clients, but that's by no means all of them. We're forever growing, and I think it's difficult to keep this updated. But essentially, in particular, if I draw your attention to affiliated distributors there, and Travis Perkins here as well. These are both multi-billion-pound businesses who were experiencing their own rebate challenges, and we came in and were able to build a solution to help with that. And since then, really, we've been building on that for many other businesses and manufacturers as well, and buying groups as well, so different types of business. And really, we've grown to now be so much more than, as it says there, rebate management. I mean, we don't just help with the management of rebates now. It's the end-to-end process really of from deal creation to kind of tracking, auditing, and reporting on those deals as well. So yeah, as you'll go on, and we'll go on to discuss anyway, there is a lot more that our platform helps with really, and some of those are mentioned under control, improve, and execute. But we'll go on and we'll discuss that anyway.
Great, thanks for that, Lauren. Yep, so as I said, I've got a few slides here just to chat more about kind of better business outcomes and how rebate management can help with that. But I thought really to get started, it'd probably be good to answer what is a rebate management system. For some people on the call, you might be familiar with that. For some people, you might be completely new and unsure. And I think from a bit of a Google online, you'll see that it's, some people might say rebate management system is, a system to capture and manage your rebate deals. But I think that's probably not giving it enough credit, and it's so much more than that. It's really, I think this kind of sentence does it with justice. It's a holistic end-to-end approach to rebate management, encompassing collaborative workflows with trading partners. So with that in mind, why should having a rebate management system be a critical pillar of your 2021 strategy? And in short, it's because it's a critical part of your business. So if we're looking at it from the kind of distributor's point of view, it's all about maximizing rebate income stream, and it's that is critical to your bottom line. I think it's changed really in recent years that rebates no longer the kind of cherry on the top. It is the difference, certainly for a lot of distributors, between profit and loss. For manufacturers, it's slightly different, but for them, they're in a very tight marketplace, I guess, similar to a lot of distributors, with many companies out there producing similar products, all vying for that market share. And in simplistic terms, that rebate can act as a loyalty program. And it's important then to kind of have a rebate management system in order to drive that right behavior from your team. So calling up your customers and saying, you're this close to hitting the next tier. If you increase spend, you'll go up. So having a rebate management system is critical for maximizing return on channel sales investments. So I guess it all comes down to, we get their importance, but why now? Why should we be focusing on that? And it comes down to that, rebate management, it's a mission critical system, but yeah, it's one of the systems out there which isn't managed digitally. And globally, we're seeing accelerated digital transformation going on, due to these unprecedented changes we're all experiencing. For reference, this time last year in Q1, cloud spending rose by 37%. So it's something which a lot of businesses are looking at. Your business might be looking at it or even going through it now, and it's important that rebate management really gets picked up as part of that. It's never been more imperative now, not just to deal with it here and now, but also plan for the future. So obviously it's, that ability of making it accessible for working from home, the criticality of, the rebates between profits and loss. But it's important that these changes we're looking to do also future-proof you as well. And, we're seeing great changes already out there, of it freeing up people's time for administrative tasks so they can be more productive. But it's so much more than that. It's actually speeding things up for companies.
Ben, when you say digital transformation, I guess, what do you mean by when you say speeding things up?
Yeah, yes, I probably could have gone back to a bit more detail. So I guess in simplistic terms, some people think, oh, that's just, agreements. I can now, previously I would have signed an agreement, then I would have to, send it over to someone else to get signed off, and then we'd have posted it off to our trading partner for them to sign it. And, digital transformation, you can now do that. I click a button. So things are so much quicker to get that sorted out. But it's not just limited to that. Your information now is readily available at your fingertips. So, month-end, year-end figures, you kind of instantly getting calculated. There's not that delay on waiting for that to come together. Negotiating deals. So let's take an example. Someone comes into your branch and says, I'm looking to negotiate a deal. What's the best price you can do on these products? If you're needing to go out there to look at your net margin, and that's going to take you weeks to turn it around, and you say to them, sure, I can do that, I'm going to need 2 weeks, you might have already lost that job. So having that kind of critical information readily available just speeding things up and makes you so much easier and increases your market presence, really. Does that kind of make sense? Does that explain it in a bit more detail?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. Great. So hopefully that should be a bit clearer about the kind of importance to rebate and picking it up as part of your digital transformation. So I guess moving on, what could poor rebate management be costing your business? And on the screen here, we have some common points we hear from people we're speaking to. So this could be our prospects or clients. And I'm sure some of these will probably resonate with you on the call. I'm going to briefly touch on all of these points. I think they're equally as important, and I don't want to just focus on a couple of them, which would be downplaying the value of others. So kind of going top to bottom, left to right, missed deal earnings. This could be as simple as, your system can't model these deals. You have to stick with simple deals. So you could be missing rebate out on that because it's not accurately represented. Missed opportunities, so lack of visibility on how good the deal's doing, or has done. So when it's coming to negotiation, you haven't got that information. You can't say, oh, how does this compare to another vendor? Am I getting a good rebate deal or not? And I guess missed opportunities and opaque net margin kind of come together. That previous example from a distributor pricing up a job and taking time to put those figures together. From a manufacturer's point of view on the opaque net margin, taking a simplistic example, maybe they've sold something and they've made £10 profit, but a month later the claim comes in from a distributor for the rebate, maybe it's down to £8 profit now, and then another month later the special pricing support kind of kicks in and there's another kind of £2 profit lost. So you're now looking at £6 profit, which you've only realized that 2 months later on. It's a simple example, obviously, but it's a kind of example of how it's not clear, without a rebate management system. Suboptimum trading relationships, I think quite an important one. Might traditionally get downplayed, but I think given where we are in the pandemic, the kind of delays we're seeing in supply chains, kind of maintaining those good relationships is kind of more imperative now than ever, and trying to minimize those disputes you're having. So disputes over that rebate payment, have we overpaid them, have we been underpaid? You don't want to get stuck into that. It's the whole purpose of rebates is to drive this mutually profitable growth, and if you're getting stuck into those disputes, it's not achieving ultimately what the rebate's trying to do. Poor cash flow, that could particularly resonate with people with what's going on with the pandemic. We know from not having that confidence on what is due or outstanding. A lot of our clients, we've heard examples of they'd receive checks in the post for certain amounts of money, and it's time to track that down. What was that for? What agreement? And I can only imagine how difficult that is with working from home, trying to track that down with people. And financial compliance, a biggie. This isn't just necessarily accruing. This could be kind of in control of the system. So maybe traditionally you had one person who managed the rebate agreements on a spreadsheet on their laptop. Now they're working from home, difficult to get in touch with them or difficult to make a change. And what happens if the worst happens? Should happen to them. So yeah, I think highlighted even more with the kind of working from home. So I think that's I've kind of whizzed through those, kind of giving a little bit of examples to each of them, but I hope that's a kind of key summary. A kind of summary of the kind of key points we see. There's probably issues out there which I haven't touched on, which are resonate with you. But I hope that covers them mostly. So I guess ultimately what we're on here for is, okay, what better business outcomes could I expect? So what I've tried to do here is kind of summarize this. So gain a rebate management system, I kind of see these benefits being grouped under these 3 different headings. So boost commercial performance, increase financial transparency, and drive operational efficiency. And over the next few slides, I'll dig into a bit more what I mean by that. So boost commercial performance. So I've split this out over kind of 3 points. So actual insights, smart planning, frictionless trading. So what do I mean by that? So actionable insights. So this could be the kind of true net margin. So you can have that empower your staff to go out there and negotiate those deals. This also could be the kind of targeted deals. So knowing how close you are to a band, you can drive that activity, whether you're a manufacturer talking to a distributor or your customer, trying to get them to buy more products, whether you're just a distributor wanting to kind of hit the next tier. That kind of visibility really helps. Smart planning. So now you can do data-driven modeling to your agreements. That's not to say that your agreements are poor. I think it's very rare when we're speaking to prospects here at Enable, I have the use case for them that our agreements are poor, we need to completely renegotiate them. But it is one we hear, but I wouldn't say it's a kind of common one. But what this means of having a rebate management system is that you have the evidence and the visibility to negotiate a better deal. So I've consistently overhitting the top tier. We need to get a new tier above that, a new incentive level. Or I've compared your rebate to other kind of similar vendors out there. you're not providing as much rebate as they are, your effective rate isn't as similar as theirs, you need to do something about that. So it's giving you those tools to kind of plan those agreements and to bring those into those negotiations. And frictionless trading. So, deal transparency, kind of two-way information sharing between your trading partners, collaborative workflow. You're not getting, hopefully you're not getting bogged down into these disputes. The rebate's doing what it's meant to be doing. It's doing that mutually profitable growth. People aren't spending time reviewing figures. Is that rebate right? Is it not right? Yeah, kind of good point to flag there.
Yeah, Ben, I've certainly heard of people before that I've spoken to who will say that, yeah, we've set these agreements up, but when it comes to kind of understanding it by the end of the year and trying to claim that back from vendors or paying it out to customers, there is that kind of dispute, and then they end up creating another deal. So yeah, definitely agree with the well, hopefully not creating any more disputes, but at least clarifying things by both being able to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which kind of nicely brings me on to this sort of increased financial transparency. So again, the points to kind of see this is control of your agreements, reliable metrics, instant visibility. So, control of agreements. All of your agreements are in a single shared repository, which you and any member of a team. So, I'm not just talking financial, commercial, procurement. This could be your branch staff. Should you wish, they can see it. They can see, do you have a rebate with this particular vendor? And what's the details on that. Reliable metrics. So a good case of this is kind of granular accruals. So typically, when speaking to customers, majority of them seem to be accruing roughly correct. I think at the top level, certainly. So I think they're over accruing on some agreements, under accruing on other agreements, but ultimately it balances out. But having these reliable metrics means you can do these granular accruals, but per branch, per product category, even by individual product. And with having these reliable metrics, you can have these fact-based settlements. So again, kind of relating back to the previous slide, you're not guessing, is this too much? Is this too little? And instant visibility. So this could be cross-departmental, as mentioned earlier. We've got live data coming in, so your procurement team are knowing exactly how well the deal is. And again, I mentioned previously, we're not waiting weeks or months to get this information for month or year ends, which I don't know if we've got any finance people on the call. This is probably a particular pain point for them. Great. And then finally, drive operational efficiency. This is a big part of digitalization, really. So collaboration, automation, integration. So collaboration, is really providing productivity of rocket fuel. Both inside and actually outside of your company. It's not just team to team as well. So again, you haven't got this risk of one person knowing exactly how to set up a deal or in control of a spreadsheet. It's kind of that each kind of member of a team is empowered to do that. And this kind of relates back to that point you were saying earlier, Lauren, of commercial and finance. They've got a joined up language here of the agreement. They know what's in place, what products are included or excluded, what branches are included or excluded, the terms and conditions. It's kind of not down to interpretation, which might vary from category manager to category manager. And again, you're not wasting time. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I've certainly spoke to people who sales might have set up the deal or procurement, and then it kind of comes to finance and finance struggle to understand what the deal is actually saying. So yeah, definitely this idea that both teams are being able to see the same information, I think provides value that sometimes isn't always considered as a problem, really.
Yeah, definitely. So and then talking a bit more about automation, so it gives you a chance to kind of eliminate these broken and unreliable workflows which you might have in your business, and also put kind of repeatable and scalable process in place which grows with your business, which I think is really important. It's not a stopgap. It's something which can scale as your company increases. So many people we've spoken to who've used spreadsheets to manage rebates, and it's been fine, but as they've got bigger and bigger and bigger, it becomes more and more of a challenge. So having a system in place which can grow your business is really key. And talking about integration, having having a system which integrates with different parts of your business, feeding in that live information. So, you've got that single version of the truth, in terms of your reporting, but also, again, touching on what we've previously spoken about, what products are included in the deal, not included in the deal, that's being able to pick that up. And again, all of this is just combining to driving that empowerment of users in decision making. And another point I want to touch on, which I didn't include, but I was chatting to a client before this, and it was all about how it's helping them be more agile. So it's a competitive market out there. I don't need to tell you that. And things are changing. We've got all these new challenges coming people's ways, and he was saying about having the tools. But I think it's not just limited tools; it's also a mindset and strategy. But certainly having the tools to be able to move swiftly and be agile and kind of change that uncertainty into opportunity and pivot is really key, and it's going to help businesses flourish where others fail. So I think agility is kind of nice encapsulating one, although probably wouldn't have fitted on this slide as they're all ending in shins. Great. Lauren, is there anything you wanted to add onto operational efficiency or kind of other benefits?
No, I think you covered them all, to be honest.
Brilliant. Okay, so I guess starting to kind of wrap this up, bring it to the end. So, okay, how to measure key business outcomes. Our kind of advice is to put together a business case with a framework which you can use for capturing and realizing business outcomes. We've included a few example methods what our customer base have done to date, which has worked quite well. So, identifying when you've relieved critical reliance on single individuals, that one person who might have managed the system, one person who knew how to set up the deals, who could run those reports for you. Recording time saved, so both elapsed and also effort, particularly prevalent for accounting teams, but certainly also relevant for commercial teams too. Logging unclaimed rebates found during the implementation process is always useful to do. And documenting commercial opportunities which have been revealed by the data, the tiers which could have been available to hit. Great, so that what I've just covered there hopefully is particularly been useful for you in understanding how rebate management system can help you as a business and why it should be kind of critical for your plan for 2021. We've now got a bit of time for a Q&A. I can see some people have already dropped some questions in the chat, so please do use that. So on that kind of toolbar, you've got that questions area. Please do add in any questions for that. So I guess over to you, Lauren. Any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, let me just have a scan of what we've had coming in. Okay, so one that stands out to me straight away, as I've definitely heard this before, is I have an ERP to manage my rebates. What would be the benefit of this kind of system?
Yeah. It's true. That's kind of, I think you're right. Most people kind of fall into kind of categories. I've got spreadsheets, or I've got an ERP to manage my rebates. Why swap to a rebate management system? So I guess from the ERP point of view, going back to that earlier slide, in simplistic terms, ERP doesn't have that holistic end-to-end approach to rebate management. It doesn't have those collaborative workflows of trading partners. It's designed to be our ERP. It's not really designed to capture rebates and to manage them. So you'll be compromising at some part of it. So setting up the deals, it might not be able to manage complex agreements. So you're going to have to compromise there. Do you compromise by only setting up a simplistic agreement with your trading partner, or do you compromise in knowing that you're going to probably not be right? You're going to miss out on some rebates. You're going to either under or over accrue. Next one, what else would I say? You won't be able to model possibly how the year would play out. Some ERP systems won't be able to do that. So that kind of forecasting forward, pivoting based on different scenarios, what would happen on that. And I can, pretty confident that you won't be able to collaborate with your trading partners through that as well. So that's how I'd answer that.
Okay, thanks, Ben. I can see some others. I mean, one related to the question, I guess, that we've just had is, are there any ERPs or industries that you specialize in? I guess I can give a bit of a take on this as well, and then Ben, I can see if you've got anything to add. But
Sure.
in terms of ERPs, we actually work with a wide variety, and we're not really ERP specific. So we kind of lock onto your ERP system to take a feed out of it, obviously to inform our platform of those agreements and the data needed, really. So there isn't a specific ERP that we worked with. We've actually worked with many. So we've got SAP, Oracle, various kind of building materials, ERP specific ones in the UK as well. But we don't have an issue with working with a specific ERP. It's more about as long as we can take a feed out of it, and we haven't had that issue yet, and we have worked with a wide variety. So yeah, nothing specific really. And in terms of industries, so in the UK, we've got quite a strong building materials presence, I should say. So we've worked with Travis Perkins, obviously, being a large one there. The thing that building materials really gave us is an understanding of real complex deals. Obviously, we're talking about materials there, and all kinds of weird and interesting deals, I should say. So it's given us a good grounding into the various types of complex rebates that there are out there. But as you can see from that slide now, we are working with manufacturers, buying groups as well, in all types of industries, really. We've got pets, we've got, we've still got building materials, we've got automotive parts. So again, we're not industry specific. We see ourselves more as being rebate management specialists for all industries, and it's just a case of having our first client, I guess, in each one. But we're growing as it is, so I can imagine that it will only be a particular time. But yeah, not specific to an ERP or an industry.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only thing I'd also add on to that, also swimming pools was one we got last year.
Yes.
Who would know that rebates were in the swimming pool industry? So I think we're constantly being well, certainly in the earlier days, we've been amazed that kind of it's prevalent in every industry really out there.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Okay. Another question we have is, what have we got here? So how can Enable support us measure key outcomes?
Okay, yeah, that would say is probably a question for me. Yeah, that's a good one. So, my role as a customer success manager, I touched on that earlier. The person might have joined a bit late. So, is to work with clients to put together a success plan. So this is identifying, what are their objectives for the system, what are key challenges they have at the moment, with their current system, what they're looking to overcome. If we overcame them, what would be the benefits? So that's something I work with our clients over for their kind of relationship with Enable and helping them achieve that. So hopefully that answers that question. So in a nutshell, we'll do a success plan with you.
Okay, I'm just going to try and get through some of these questions quickly. I know we're tight on time, but I'll try and push for 2 more. So another one we have is about invoicing. Does this manage invoicing? And if not, how will that work? Ben, I don't know if you want to answer that, or me. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll give it a go. I might miss out some areas. So the system has something we call the cash module, which identifies, this is the rebate due on your different deals. It doesn't generate an invoice, but it can kind of generate that information, which typically would feed into your kind of invoicing system. I don't know if you'd add anything onto that, Lauren.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of discussions about invoicing before. What I would say is we do certainly provide you with information. It depends on, I guess, what you're defining as an invoice, but and that would probably be something we'd have to take a look at and show you. But we do certainly at least provide you with the information for an invoice. And in some cases, some would say that it is pretty much an invoice. And like Ben said, really, that would be displayed in our cash module. But that's probably something more to show you than it's quite difficult to explain otherwise. So we can reach out and explain that more.
Yes, I can see the person that was raised. In fact, we're speaking to him tomorrow morning, so we'll cover it then.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and last question, as I appreciate your guys' time. So the solution presented understandably covers the purchase rebates. Do you similarly have functionality functionality, sorry, covering sales rebates for customers. So yeah, I can take this. Certainly, we do cover rebates that you pay out to your customers as well. Sometimes I know recently we did a webinar showing a demo really of our solution, and that was very much vendor focused and vendor rebate focused. But yes, we might not have shown that today, but we certainly do cover both sides, whether you're paying out or collecting rebates. We do have manufacturers currently using the system. So again, we can reach out to you and discuss that in more detail if that's of interest. Okay, so I think it's time to wrap up as we are pushing it. So thank you everyone really for joining us today. I hope you did find that useful. There's our website there. So if you need anything else, if you want to take a look at any other webinars or resources that we have and sign up to any other webinars we've got coming up as well, actually, do take a look. And yeah, I hope you continue to stay safe and well, really. Thank you, Ben, for your time as well and sharing your information with us.
Brilliant. Thank you to Lauren, and thanks everyone for your time.
Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.